Fifth Harbor is ours, Kaz repeated. It isn't up for negotiation. You're cutting into traffic from the docks, and you're intercepted a shipment of Jurda that should have docked 2 nights ago. Don't know what you're talking about. I know it comes easy, Gales, but try not to play dumb with me. Gales took a step forward. Jesper and Big Bollinger tensed. Quit flexing, boy, Gales said. We all know the old man doesn't have the stomach for a real brawl. Kaz's laugh was dry as the rustle of dead leaves. But I'm the one at your table, Gales. I'm not here for a taste. You want war, I'll make sure you eat your fill. And what if you're not around, Brecker? Everyone knows you're the spine of Haskell's operation. Snap it, and the dregs collapse. Jesper snorted. Stomach, spine, what's next? Spleen? Shut it, Uman snarled. The rules of parley dictated that only the lieutenants could speak once negotiations had begun. Jesper mouthed sorry, and elaborately pantomimed locking his lips shut. I'm fairly sure you're threatening me, Gales, Kaz said, but I want to be certain before I decide what to do about it. Sure of yourself, aren't you, Brecker? Myself and nothing else. Gales burst out laughing and elbowed Uman. Listen to this cocky little piece of crap. Brecker, you don't own these streets. Kids like you are fleas. A new crop of you turns up every few years to annoy your betters until a big dog decides to scratch. Let me tell you, I'm about tired of the itch. He crossed his arms, pleasure rolling off him in smug waves. What if I told you there were 2 guards with city-issue rifles pointed at you and your boys right now? Inej's stomach dropped. But was that what Kaz had meant when he said Gales might have the guards in his pocket? Kaz glanced up at the roof. Hiring city guards to do your killing? I'd say that's an expensive proposition for a gang like the Black Tips. I'm not sure I believe your Kofers could support it. Inej climbed onto the railing and launched herself from the safety of the balcony, heading for the roof. If they survived the night, she was going to kill Kaz. There were always 2 guards from the Stadwatch posted on the roof of the exchange. A few crews from the Dregs and the Black Tips had ensured that they wouldn't interview with the parley. A common enough transaction. But Gales was implying something very different. Had he really managed to bribe city guards to play sniper for him? If so, the Dregs' odds of surviving this night had just dwindled to a knife's point. Like most of the building in Ketterdam, the exchange had a sharply gabled roof to keep off heavy rain, so the guards patrolled the rooftop via a narrow walkway that overlooked the courtyard. Inej ignored it. It was easier going, but would leave her too exposed. Instead, she scaled halfway up the slick roof tiles and started crawling, her body tilted at a precarious angle, moving like a spider as she kept one eye on the guard's walkway, and one ear on the conversation below. Maybe Gales was bluffing, or maybe 2 guards were hunched over the railing right now with Kaz or Jesper or Big Bollinger in their sights. Took some doing, Gales admitted. We're a small operation right now, and city guards don't come cheap, but it'll be worth it for the prize. That being me, that being you. I'm flattered. The Dregs won't last a week without you. I'd give them a month on sheer momentum. The thought rattled noisily in Inej's head. If Kaz was gone, would I stay, or would I skip out on my debt? Take my chances with Per Haskell's enforcers. She didn't move faster. She might as well find out. Smug little slum rat, Gales laughed. I can't wait to wipe that look off your face. So do it, Kaz said. Inej risked a look down. His voice had changed, all humor gone. Should I have them pull a bullet in your good leg, Brecker? Where are the guards? Inej thought, picking up her pace. She raced across the steep pitch of the gable. The exchange stretched nearly the length of a city block. There was too much territory to cover. Stop talking, Gales. Tell them to shoot. Kaz, said Jesper nervously. Go on, find your balls and give the order. What game was Kaz playing? Had he expected this? Had he just assumed Inej would find her way? To the guards in time? She glanced down again. Gales radiated anticipation. He took a deep breath, puffing out his chest. Inej's steps faltered, as she had to fight not to go on sliding straight off the edge of the roof. He's going to do it. I'm going to watch Kaz die. Fire, Gales shouted. A gunshot split the air. Big Bollinger let loose a cry and crumpled to the ground. Damn it, shouted Jesper. dropping to one knee beside Bollinger and pressing his hand on the bullet wound as the big man moaned. "You worthless pod," she yelled at Giles. "You just violated neutral territory." "Nothing to say you didn't shoot first," Giles replied. "And who's going to know? None of you are walking out of here." Giles' voice sounded too high. He was trying to maintain his composure, but Inej could hear panic pulsing against his words. They startled the wing beat of a frightened bird. Why? Moments before, he'd been all bluster. That was when Inej saw Kaz still hadn't moved. "You don't look well, Giles." "I'm just fine," he said, but he wasn't. He looked pale and shaky. His eyes were darting right and left as if searching the shadowed walkway of the roof. "Are you?" Kaz asked conversationally. "Things aren't going quite as planned, are they?" "Kaz," Jesper said. "Bollinger's bleeding bad." "Good," Kaz said, ignoring him. "Kaz, he needs a medic." Kaz spared the wounded man the barest glare. "What he needs to do is stop his belly aching and be glad I didn't have Holst take him down with a headshot." Even from above, Inej saw Giles flinch. "That's the guard's name, isn't it?" Kaz asked. "Willem Holst and Bert Van Dahl?" "The 2 city guards on duty tonight. The ones you emptied the Black Tips coffers to bribe." Giles said nothing. "Willem Holst," Kaz said loudly, his voice floating up to the roof, "likes to gamble almost as much as Jesper does. So your money has held a lot of appeal. But Holst has much bigger problems. Let's call them urges. I won't go into detail. A secret's not like coin. It doesn't keep its value in the spending. You just have to trust me when I say this one would turn even your stomach. Isn't that right, Holst?" The response was another gunshot. It struck the cobblestones near Giles' feet. Giles released a shocked bleat and sprang back. This time, Inej had a better chance to track the origin of the gunfire. The shot had come from somewhere near the west side of the building. If Holst was there, that meant the other guard, Bert Van Dahl, would be on the east side. Had Kaz managed to neutralize him too, or was he counting on her? She sped up over the gables. "Just shoot him, Holst," Giles bellowed, desperation swaying and sawing at his voice. "Shoot him in the head." Kaz snorted in disgust. "Do you really think that secret would die with me? Go on, Holst," he called. "Put a bullet in my skull. There will be messengers sprinting to your wife and your watch captain's door before I hit the ground." No shot came. "How?" Giles said bitterly. "How did you even know who would be on duty tonight? I had to pay through the gills to get that roster. You couldn't have outbid me." "Let's say my currency carries more sway. Money is money. I trade in information, Giles. The things men do when they think no one is looking. Shame holds more value than coin ever can." He was grandstanding, and Inej saw that, buying her time as she leapt over to the slate shingles. "Are you worrying about the second guard? Good old Bert Van Dahl?" Kaz asked. "Maybe he's up there right now, wondering what he should do. Shoot me, shoot Holst, or maybe I got him too. And he's getting ready to blow a hole in your chest, Giles." He leaned in as if he and Giles were sharing a great secret. Why not give Van Dahl the order and find out? Giles opened and closed his mouth like a carp, then bellowed, "Van Dahl!" Just as Van Dahl parted his lips to answer, Inej slipped up behind him and placed the blade to his throat. She barely had time to pick out his shadow and slide down the roof tiles. Saints. Kaz liked to cut it close. "Shh," she whispered in Van Dahl's ear. She gave him a tiny jab on the side so that he could feel the point of her second dagger pressing against his kidney. "Please," he moaned. I like it when men beg," she said, "but this isn't the time for it."